In my judgment, this is an industry that is not going away. It's valued today at about $1.2, $1.3 trillion. But I do think, and I've spoken to Christine Lagarde personally, and I think we need to stop measuring it just by what's going on with the overall value and how are these assets being used to solve real world problems. And I think time and time again, we're seeing more and more real use cases solving real scaled problems where blockchain technologies can reduce friction measured by cost and speed in a way that I think improves the overall economy. Gary Gensler was quoted as saying that justice delayed is justice denied, yet at every turn the SEC has been slowing this one down. Look, we were the ones advocating for years that we needed regulatory clarity in the United States. And then for the SEC to say, hey, even though it's not clear, we're going to bring a civil lawsuit saying that XRP is a security, we find to be a bit ironic. I'm actually advocating for regulatory clarity. I've been
not for XRP to be a security.
I think most crypto assets are not securities, and I think they are clearly commodities, and they are regulated. I mean, when people say, as Gary Gensler has said, this is the Wild West, that is not true. We're a regulated company by many different regulatory bodies today. And outside the United States, you have the regulatory clarity.
What's up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another cryptocurrency update. You're going to want to stick around for all of this video. I'm going to dive into some crucial information. First things first, this was a clip of Brad Garlinghouse on CNBC having a recent interview. And keep in mind that Ripple was recently just at Davos as well, the 1% of the 1%. A lot of Switzerland companies and essentially every single billionaire, specifically in Switzerland, attends Davos. And remember, all of those billionaires, what do they see during the presentations of Web3, of the future of money, of NFTs? They see Ripple presenting with XRP, they see Stellar, they see Algorand, Hedera with HBAR, Casper Labs and Casper. Polkadot has incredibly deep ties in Switzerland, also Alliance Block. Any ISO token, QNT, you name it. So I think it's great publicity. We also see over at Davos that Casper Labs has closed a new contract with the government of Telangana. This is based out of India at the blockchain hub for Davos. And if you hold XRP, an absolute must follow is this guy, Short the FOMO. He shared this today, the largest liquidity month of XRP on his records. So far, 33 billion XRP has moved in and out of exchanges. And there's still 5 more days of the month to go. So something big is going on and there is tons of volume taking place. He also posts right here and shares the different volumes at different exchanges in those peak 3 months. So for Uphold, for example, there is more XRP coming into the exchange rather than leaving. And for Binance, there's a higher number leaving. Meanwhile, the Fear and Greed Index, we are still in extreme fear, ranked at 12, and this was just updated today. This is just like March 2020, extreme fear, extreme fear, extreme fear, and only those that continue to research and endure through the hard days are going to make it. So I shared this again, essentially 8 weeks of extreme fear in the markets. This is how the game is played. Respect to everybody that's lasted. As even Brad Garlinghouse has said in the beginning of this video, crypto is here to stay. There's never been an asset class that reaches and surpasses a $1 trillion market, technically hitting $3 trillion, and then fades into oblivion. The fact that they are speaking at the World Economic Forum, the fact that we had this Luna debacle, is paving the way for necessary regulation for stablecoins. And guess what? They want control. Me personally, I'm tired of waiting for price action, so yes, I'm rooting for regulation. I want regulation and clarity now, so that we know the rules of the road, more institutions finally come into this market, and we really start moving. The reason the United States did so well during the dot-com bubble is because they had clear rules of the road, clear guidelines. So regulation is not always a bad thing. I want to emphasize that. Regulated markets bring in way more money. So at first glance, we see 8 weeks of fear, a huge downtrend. Oh no, crypto's going to zero. No, this will not last forever. I've shown many times on price charts after a 70 to even 90% crash, sometimes more. Once we find the bottom, we either have a beautiful V-shaped recovery out, or we're going to creak sideways a bit. But don't forget the macro. Goldman Sachs is opening a trading desk for crypto. We have other leading banks, even in Japan, Nomura, part of the Hedera Governing Council, also opening a bunch of functionality for institutional traders and investors for NFTs and Web3 infrastructure. And just like I shared on Instagram, all models are wrong, but some are useful. Essentially acknowledging the statistical models always fall short of the complexities of reality, but they can still be useful nonetheless. So I use these models, different things that we've seen with 10 years of price history, to base some of my assumptions. So in previous videos, at the top of each Bitcoin cycle, we have an all-time high followed by a 70 to 90% crash. All-time high followed by a 70 to 90% crash. All-time high followed by a 70 to 90% crash. And now we've had an all-time high that we recently had in November. The question is it going to be like our 2013 or 2017 fractal where we had some big corrections on the way up? Or did we in fact hit our market top and Bitcoin crashes? This is the crypto landscape, and I will tell you one thing. Anything is possible in crypto. The second I think something's impossible, it usually happens, so I stay incredibly open-minded. So once again, for anybody new, we have this all-time high price. Once Bitcoin broke through and surpassed this all-time high price, it never once backtested or even broke through that level. Same thing again for the all-time high in 2013. Once it surpassed that level right there, it went up, but it never backtested or crashed below that level. So looking at our previous 2017 all-time high of about 19,000, we broke through shortly after the Bitcoin halving, and we have yet to backtest or break through that 19 to 20K level. Now, is Kevin saying it can never do that? No, absolutely not. Anything is possible. And this is another common indicator that many analysts look at historically for the past several years, because as you can see, this really started back in 2015. The 10-year model says it can never break the previous all-time high price. And we also have the 200 moving average at almost 23,000 per BTC. So will it hold that level? We continue the cycle because remember, each cycle gets longer. We have analysts predicting that it actually does last longer. We have other analysts saying that we will actually crash. We're going to revisit. We can draw a fib. This is what I usually do to gauge, is from the high to the low, drag it over. If we do crash historically, I've seen other assets crash all the way back down to their 702. So my question is, what happens next? Thus far, we've had a backtest on the 127. And which models, if any, get invalidated first? And there's a variety of amazing analysts out there. I love Credible Crypto. I love Blockchain Backer. I'm looking at everybody. Even if we all have conflicting views, we have to look at the market with an open mind. Because in my experience, both bulls and bears are usually right, given enough patience. And that's the only reason I'm at where I'm at today, is because I'm incredibly stubborn. Because given enough time in an emerging asset class, you can still do very well. So right here, he's actually sharing wave 2 and wave 4 corrections in the cycle have been deeper and longer than he was expecting. Remember, back in 2020, he originally predicted this cycle would end or could end in the beginning of 2023. So he agrees the cycle's been way more drawn out than other mid-cycle corrections that we've seen in 2013 and 2017. And this resulted in longer cycles and also deeper corrections. And he still believes that Bitcoin does get a wave 5, and that would be amazing for altcoins. And keep in mind that Credible Crypto predicted that first half and that impulse perfectly after the Bitcoin halving. And as far as I can tell, Blockchain Backer is one of the only people that I saw accurately call the top for Bitcoin thus far. And keep in mind, I'm just one man. I don't see everything that's posted by everybody. But Blockchain Backer was not some account saying, oh, this is the top, this is the top, this is the top. No, he literally said it one time and left it posted. And he shared his thoughts throughout everything. So I thought it was fascinating that we did in fact reach some of those higher fib levels and reject. And what do I want? Obviously, I want wave 5 to come in. I want Bitcoin to start pushing. I want alts to recover. I want the cycle to continue because structurally it's still holding. If it breaks through that previous high under the 20K, under the 200 moving average, there's a few other models I'm looking at that are fully invalidated. And as I shared recently in Discord, I do have my lower limit buy set. They are my Hail Mary plays with US dollar that I don't need. I'm using my OTC broker that's free, linked in the video description. And they are really low limit buy orders. And most people are going to be doing that with KuCoin or Binance. Good luck, that's super risky. I'm leveraging an OTC broker that sources liquidity with dozens of liquidity providers. So even if everybody else's exchange is down during some type of black swan event, which I don't believe in, but I entertain the thought, I definitely will have my buys executed because I planned ahead of time. And if there's anything I've learned in the markets, it's that the markets don't care about my opinion or what I think should happen. All that matters is what will happen. So I want to make sure that I'm set up to win on the positive case and set up to win on the negative case. You want to play both sides. It's not about being right or wrong. It's not about getting clout online from people that don't even care about you. It's about positioning yourself to win either way. So I have the link to that OTC broker right in the video description, along with right on my Twitter under Linktree. Okay, so now we're on the XRP price chart. Pay close attention to this. We have 2013, the previous all-time high of XRP before we had the 70 to 90% crash. So this is the all-time high price in 2013. I drew a horizontal line on the wick. After the huge crash, we then formed a lower high, and I drew it on the candle bodies. Now when you go over here, you can see wick perfectly on the weekly candle bodies of the XRP price chart. Right here we have one wick, which hits perfectly right there where the candle body's closed. So just to show you this confluence, Now I'm also going to show you another chart here to show you the retracements and the extensions, also hitting the 55 top to perfection thus far. And yes, we have higher fibs over here for XRP. So now looking at this, we have the all-time high price of XRP on many exchanges. Up here, it's like over $3. The highest exchange is $3.84, so almost $4. We have the huge crash, and we have a lower high. Now I just drew it on the candle bodies to try to gauge, a relatively accurate swing high. So my personal opinion is when we do in fact find our bottom, keep in mind that we had massive liquidations for XRP early days before we finally rocket. When I see huge crashes in the market, I get incredibly bullish. I don't get scared. The only concern I have is for somebody that might be leverage trading, because I just want people to be okay. I want them to be in a good headspace and win. But when you see huge liquidations like here during 2020, right here after the SEC lawsuit, both of these cases, XRP rockets hundreds of percent. Up to here, it was over a 10x for both of these cases. Up here, don't even get me started, over 70,000% probably. Same thing with here to here, massive gains. Whenever you see a huge crash at all-time low price in a utility-based asset that is actively building for the future, like XRP that's still in the top 10 after a 10-year track record, for me, that's a bullish sign, not financial advice. So I did mark up some of the targets up here, but now let's look at the Fib extensions. So from the high to the low, we can see that we did in fact get up to this level after this accumulation or reaccumulation phase under the 236. We had the huge crash and then boom. And this zone is anywhere from the 618 up to the 786. That's the sweet spot. Assets will either reject hard or break through that zone up until the next Fib extension. So in this case, of course, we made it up to the 4.236. And then here we consolidated a bit longer before creating another high and went to the 55 Fibonacci extension. As you can see, the wick hitting that level perfectly. Now, from the previous all-time high of like $3.19, at least on this exchange, which is Bitstamp on the weekly time frame from the high to the low, that same purple circle that I showed you here actually matches that same zone that we saw here. So there's a variety of confluence for that level. And just like XRP broke through here and went up to the zone between the 2 to the 4.236, that's what I believe XRP would do. Break through this level of $1.50 to $3 after we break through that zone and start closing above it, it's likely that we make our way up to anywhere from $6 to $15, a huge range. And of course, you can look at those higher targets longer term, and I know some people are going to say, Kevin, you can't account for what utility will do for XRP price. Yeah, you're right. Maybe we go way higher and I'm completely wrong, but I'm doing my best to gauge what I have with Bitcoin with over 10 years of price history, with Ethereum, of course, XRP since 2013. I drew a parallel channel, this ascending channel for the XRP price chart. Of course, I have to keep moving it and adjusting it as we have different moves in price, but I actually just drew two that overlap, and you can see, holding this level is support and resistance right there in the middle. Right there, of course, our most recent top that happened last April. And we're going to see if we hold this where the candle bodies are. But overall, for the success of the company Ripple, for the success of the XRP ledger and the XRP price chart, I'm not worried one bit. I also wanted to mention that I got another family member to get a free iTrustCapital account, which is linked below in the YouTube video description. We're about to fund this account and set some lower limit buys now that we have conditional orders live. So with US dollars, not even stablecoins, I'm going to have my family member fund this account with USD. I'm taking some money out from the stock market in their old 401k. And I'm going to set some lower limit buys for a few altcoins. So for example, let's just say if Algorand hits this price, I'm going to enter 25% of my position. And yes, I believe Algo, for example, not financial advice, reaches several dollars in the future worst case. And I think you can see that that could potentially be over a 10x long term. And this is a long-term strategy, but I want them to have exposure into the crypto asset class. So this is crypto IRAs, individual retirement accounts, and 401ks. I have a Roth IRA here, which is 100% tax-free, meaning that I pay 0% in capital gains. So they're 24/7 available, mobile application. There's no monthly fees, no gotcha fees. The only thing there is a 1% transaction fee when or if you decide to trade. If you want to just buy and hold and still reap the benefits, you can. But I do like to trade a little portion during, huge market swings a couple times per year. There's 25 crypto assets, gold and silver, and you also get $100 in Bitcoin when you fund your account. This is one of my favorite platforms. This is a unicorn company, over a $1 billion valuation. iTrustCapital is the leader in the crypto space for 401ks and IRAs for a reason, and I've been using them since 2020. And again, they're right in my link tree. You can see right here. But all right, guys, I'm going to trim this video up, and I'll actually upload a second video that has a lot more information. I just wanted to go over the price charts in this one a bit more. Appreciate it, and until next time.